Hello and welcome back to another Betting Bankers live stream. We're here to discuss all things sports gambling related with a focus on soccer, horse racing, NFL and NBA. We share our bets before the event starts and then we monitor the progress as the action happens. Let's get cheering on those winners and making some money.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Betting Bankers. Another midweek preview night for us here tonight. And if you did hear a little interruption during the introduction that something was a joke, I think Gary was letting us know about one of his cash out offers that he's not too pleased with.
No comment.
Yeah, so tonight won't really be a bet along. It's going to be more of just a preview for Friday. We'll keep it nice and short tonight. Kind of run through some of the selections we have for Friday so that we can hit the ground running on Friday. But before we dive into that, does anybody have any bets on tonight or any of the matches have caught anyone's eye?
I've one bet that's going okay, but just to give an update on the United game, you called it earlier on, LB, before we came online, that Fred would be sent off, and he's just been sent off. So
I'm not even watching it anymore. He could have got sent off.
The tin line, but now he's gone.
Did you watch the first half?
No, I missed the first line.
So he headbutted a fella. I mean, it was soft, but in football, it's a red card all day long. Got a yellow, which makes no sense. It's either not a foul or a red card. About 2 minutes after, he stood on a fella's foot. Nothing for that. And before the whole headbutt thing, he could have easily got a yellow card as well. He could have had 2 reds and a yellow in the first half.
And did the lad go down with the headbutt?
Oh yeah, he went down like he'd been sniper shot, like he was lying face down on the ground for about 30 seconds. The referee
wasn't a headbutt. I mean, if I was getting a headbutt, then fair enough.
If you make any motion with your head and touch the guy, that's a headbutt.
I can't remember the last time I've seen that happen that wasn't a red card. Like that the referee acknowledged that it happened and not.
But there's nothing else it could have been. Like it could have been just a gesture, and then in which case there's no card at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, half of them are fucking lads trying to play the hard man, throwing a little.
Yeah, but if you do what you just did there and it touches somebody's face, that's going to be a red. So anyway, he escaped 2 reds and a yellow, and I don't know how he actually didn't get substituted off because he looks like someone who
you'd nearly blame the manager for that when they leave players on to purely just aggro for the night, like.
Yeah, too far up. And actually, just before we came on, Gary, you had mentioned you had Bruges back. They're 3-0 up now, so that's got to surely help your cash out a little bit.
It actually, my cash out all the hinges. Well, my bet was all hinges on 2 late goals in those championship games. So they're looking a bit unlikely now. I've kind of written it off, but I still would have expected a better cash out earlier, even though I wouldn't have taken it. So
yeah. What about you, PK? Your in-play fancies. Anything jumping out at you here?
No, I just noticed Giroud got a hat-trick. You must be.
Yeah, I saw that he scored after 3 minutes.
He's definitely in the best form of his life. Like, I don't know. He's wasted on the bench there. No, I feel like looking at it, I was looking like Dortmund and Lazio surely be another goal, but a draw suits both of them, so not sure there. United PSG, I can probably see there being another goal, but probably no value in that one either.
I think PSG are quite a bit behind in the goal difference, so I can see them chasing it all right.
But they're both going to qualify anyway, right?
Not necessarily. No, I think if they'll all be on 3 points. They'll be on 9 points after this.
Yeah, United Leipzig is a big shootout next week then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because PSG just play back as you'd fancy them there, but United and Leipzig play in Germany, is it? I'm not even sure.
You would think it is with United home, right? They'd be away next.
Yeah, it usually goes like that, yeah. All right, well, before we go too much into the live stuff here for Friday, we've got a couple of matches picked out so we can jump into the previews for those. And we'll start with myself this time with Ascoli Pescara in the Serie B. So this will be a strange one on Friday because both of those teams are right at the bottom of the Serie B and actually were rooted to the bottom of it last season as well. And I think Ascoli escaped relegation by a point and Pescara actually had to come back through the playoffs to avoid it themselves as well. So not really going anywhere this season, but it's a strange up Pescara 5-2. Ascoli are 10-11 or even money at home. And Pescara beat them both times last season, so it's a big price. I'm tempted by the 5-2, but the over 2.5 at even money is probably going to be my bet if we're doing an accumulator on Friday between us. I think they both actually concede, 2 goals a game. They're very open, both of them, and I think their head-to-head is a pretty high scoring record. 5 goals in the 2 matches last season, so I think safe bet over 2.5 at evens, but the long shot Pescara to win and both teams to score at 4-1. So that's my pick for Friday.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Gary, you're looking at the championship, are you?
Yeah, so I've looked at 2 games. So in the championship, it's Barnsley against Bournemouth. They're 2 closely matched teams. Bournemouth should probably win it. They're priced at 19-20, but I think that the best bet in the markets is both teams to score 4-5. Bournemouth have been on a decent run, but they lost yesterday to Preston. Barnsley have had 3 wins and 3 losses from their last 6, but there's been plenty of goals about. So I think Bournemouth will probably sneak it, but the best bet be 4-5 on both teams to score. And then in Germany for the Berlin Derby, so there's actually quite a price anomaly that I'm shocked about. Union Berlin against Hertha Berlin. Union are unbeaten away from home and in their last 8 games. So they lost the first game of the season, but unbeaten since then. Hertha haven't won at home all season and haven't won a game. They've only won 1 of their last 8. But Union are the underdogs there. So Union are 2-1. So the bet I'll be going for is Union and over 1.5 at 16-5.
That's a big jump, even from 2-1 to 16-5 for a single extra.
Yeah. And if you look at Union Berlin's games, there's been goals galore. There's been 5-0 and 3-2, 4-2. There's been just loads of games, loads of goals in their games. So I just think it's a mad price for a team that basically have that winning record. The only thing that goes in Hertha's favour is that they have a win and 2 draws recently against fairly decent sides, like Bayern Leverkusen and teams like that. So they might just be hitting a run of form that isn't showing up in the pure results aspect. But I think that if they go 1 behind, their heads will probably drop. They've lost, I think it's 5 out of their last 8 they've lost. So if they go 1-0 down, you could see their heads dropping and Union running away with it. So I think the 2-1 about Union is a great bet. But as I said, the 16-5 just caught my eye, and I think that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, I'll certainly be backing that myself. Slat, you were looking at one of the Netherlands games for us as usual.
Yeah, I had a look at a few of them. All right, there's 2 early kickoffs, and then 1 at 8 o'clock that we'll be able to kind of track live with our Friday bet along. So the later one is Almere versus Utrecht. I was struggling to find much value in it. Really, I'd be confident Almere are going to win. They've won 6 of their 7 home games so far this season. They drew one of the early ones 0-0. But they're only 2-5 for the win. So there's not, or actually, sorry, they're 4-11. So there's not great value in that. They haven't been conceding at home either. They've only conceded 1 goal in those games. So you could chance back into 0, but saying that Utrecht have been scoring away, so that's a little risky too. So you could just go with the home win for our banking bet. I'm going to double that up with a Camber win in the earlier kickoff. The double on those, just the straight win for Almere and Camber is even money. So that I'm going to go with that double for our banker bet. But just to look at that Camber game in a bit more detail, it's Telstar at home to Camber. Telstar sitting in 7th, Camber top of the table. So Telstar in 7th and at home, you'd be kind of giving them a chance. I was kind of considering a scoring draw at first when I was looking at this, but actually looking deeper, Telstar have had a lot of kind of handy enough games. They haven't beaten anyone that good, really. Most of their wins have come from kind of bottom of the table teams. Canberra have won 9 of their last 10 games, so it's hard to kind of be betting against them. So I actually have come around to thinking they're definitely good value for the win. They are 8-15 for the win, but if you want to throw in both teams to score, that brings it from 8-15 up to 13-8. It's a big swing considering Telstar have scored in 19 of their last 20 home games, and Canberra have scored in 19 of their last 20 away games. So, both teams scoring definitely looks on the cards, and 13-8 is a big jump from 8-15. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at there.
Oh, sounds good. I like that. Sticking with the Netherlands, Lee, we'll go to your favourite named team, if not your favourite team.
Yeah, I mean, slightly handicapped this week in the proposed games to be looking at. Like, Go Ahead Eagles are one of the teams we try and track every week, and they've been distinctly mid-table all season and continue to be so. Helm and Sports equally very much mid-table, both of them conceding a lot of goals. So I mean, just looking in the past form, I mean, there's in both of the games I was looking at, like, but both games, all 4 teams are just averagely mid-table, but there's a clear history between both of them. So in the first game, like the Go Ahead Eagles, Helmand, like they're unbeaten against them in the last several years. I mean, the last couple of games they've won 3 and drew 2. So giving it to mid, it's a strictly mid-table tussle. I'm just going to go with Go Ahead and over 1.5. And then I'm going to do exactly the same in the second game, which is Scottish Championship, Queen of the South against Inverness. Like, they've only played 5 games, so there's not a lot of form to go on. Inverness started the season, Queen of the South started losing their first 3. But again, like, there's a clear history. So Inverness they haven't lost to Queen of the South in several years since they got relegated from the Premiership. So I'm going to just use the past form as an indicator of current form, and just go with Queen of the South, Inverness, and Go Ahead Eagles to win and over 1.5 in each goal or in each game.
Nice, I like it. We'll be looking for the Eagles to go ahead again, as we tend to back them.
Like to throw that in. Yeah.
The over 1.5 is just such a tempting thing to throw in there as a kicker. Like,
Yeah.
We boost on the odds of the win alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of extra greed. Like,
Yeah, but it feels inevitable as well when you're looking at it. You're like you said there, your game, it's about a 50% increase. You're like, how can that be?
Yeah. I mean, Queen of the South have conceded 11 goals in 5 games. Like, Inverness have conceded 7. They're in 5th. Like, there's just goals flying everywhere. You know what I mean? So I think, like, is it fair to say that the lower the league you go, the more safe you are to throw in the little cheeky over 1.5?
I think so. I think that, like, I don't have any stats to back it up, but off the top of my head, I would say that, like, if you asked me if I was to back a kind of national league in England, like both teams to score, or a Premiership both teams to score, I'd feel a lot more confident in the National League than I would in the Premiership.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether the stats back it up, but definitely in my thought process.
Yeah. And PK, you're looking at a Spanish match for us, are you?
Yeah, Bilbao at home to Celta Vigo. I think Bilbao are pretty overpriced at 6-5 just for the win here, because, like, Celta Vigo haven't won in 9 on the road. They've had 4 losses and 5 draws in that time. Bilbao have won 3 at home. The last 3 at home, sorry. And in the league so far this season, they've only conceded 2 in 4 matches. So at 6-5, I'm happy to take Bilbao. I'm not sure if there's something they're missing, if they're missing players, maybe potentially, but based on Celta Vigo's away form, and Bilbao are always strong at home, I think every year. I think 6-5 is a very good price.
Are Celta Vigo any relations to Celta Vigo? Or?
Yeah, I was wondering.
I asked that as well. I was assuming I would want.
I could see Gary lining that up. I could just see the smile on his face. I was like, he's going to say something here.
I didn't know what they were smirking at either. I was like, what?
I was trying to think. I was like, do I say this would be a wanker, or do I keep it?
No wanker about it, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
But we give you a pass, PK. Moving on to France. You don't have to try and pronounce these names if you don't want to. You can just call them N&M.
Nîmes and Marseille. How did I get on there, guys? Just so I
Very
know the
good.
scores there.
Very
Perfect,
good.
okay. Fair
You
play.
sure?
Great behind.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. I'll brush up for next week.
Come
Let's
here,
go
you know, actually, if you type it into Google, you can press the little voice thing at the bottom of the box, and it'll actually pronounce it in the computer voice just for next week if you're struggling.
Do you want to do it there, and we'll see what they say?
Yeah, well, yeah. No, don't worry.
All right. So I know Marseille played last night but they were at home to Olympiacos, so it's a quick turnaround for them. But they seem overpriced as well. Nîmes have lost 4 of the last 5 at home. Have a pretty bad home record. Marseille have won the last 4 head-to-heads. And Marseille, the best away team in the league, having only conceded 3 in 5 games. So at 17-20, they're a decent price just to win. But given their record and how bad Nîmes are at home, I'm gonna get grief for this one too. And it's I don't like taking the under myself, but I think this one could be a 1-2-0 to Marseille. So I think there's value in 3-1 with Marseille to win and under 2.5. 3-1. I'm happy enough to take the win at 17-20, but there's value there. I don't see Marseille putting 3 passing, but I don't think Nîmes score either. So
Okay.
Gotta get people tuning into the stream anyway. Tune in so we can all cheer on no goals.
it's not like I'm happy enough to, as I said, to take the thing, but I think there's value in that 3-1 there for the under.
No, it does sound like a good bet. I'm only taking the piss, but
I'm not saying I'm taking it or putting it in any accumulator or that, but I'm just trying to point out a bit of value. So
it's like the draws we back last week, and they're awful from an entertainment point of view. But the 2 of them were in it until about like late in the game, so it's definitely value there.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of lack of entertainment, I'll be looking at the Zulte Waregem Anderlecht match on Friday as well. And when I saw the schedule, I thought it could actually be a good one, but on kind of closer inspection, I'm not expecting a huge amount from it. I think between the 2 of them, they've got maybe 9 wins out of about 30 games. So terrible season from both of them. Anderlecht are not. I mean, Company went there. I think everyone thought he was going to revive his reputation and theirs, and it's not working. So I'm expecting. Waregem are not that bad at home. Anderlecht are not that good, but like you mentioned earlier on, Lee, with the head-to-heads, I think Anderlecht might have beaten them 7-0 last season and 4-0 the season before. Very, very one-sided history. So Anderlecht are 10-11 for the win. That's not very tempting. Zulte Waregem are maybe 3-1, but again, I probably wouldn't go near that. If I was going to back something, I'd probably back a draw. They tend to draw a lot. I think Anderlecht have drawn more than half their games this season. I don't know. Friday night I might get excited and do Anderlecht and over 2.5 or Anderlecht and both teams to score, but I think probably from a betting point of view, it's one to skip or play it safe. But I think we leave it out of the combo bet anyway.
Anderlecht used to be decent, right? I mean, they used to be a top side.
They went.
yeah,
Their history was very similar to United and Milan. It was around the same season that they just kind of imploded, and they can't really get back. Belgium has a playoff system, so I'm not sure if you're too familiar with it. The top 8 teams, the top 12 teams even play like a preliminary playoff, and then it goes to quarterfinals and through that, and they invariably finish in the top half and get to go into the playoffs, and then maybe make it 1 round or 2, but they don't finish anywhere near Bruges or the rest of the big teams there lately. So yeah, they're a big name, but not playing well for the last 4 or 5 years.
And did you ever see value in betting against them, similar to what we talked about with United and Milan?
I saw a lot of value. I don't know if I ever turned any of it into profit. So
Right.
It'd be a bit like some of the Premier League betting that I do. I'd be slightly biased, and I'd have quite a soft spot for Standard Liège. So I'd be kind of a little bit, blinkers on when I'm backing in the Belgian First Division. So there's definitely value against Anderlecht, but I haven't managed to turn it into anything.
I think
probably
my issue there would be not knowing enough about the opposition, really. I'd be
Yeah,
looking at it going, Anderlecht aren't that good anymore, but then I'd be like, I don't know enough about what they're playing against, the Belgian league. So
yeah, I think Zulte Waregem have I think they've played 14 or 15 games in Belgium. I'd say they have 4 wins. They really are poor. So 5-2. I actually checked it there. A 5-2 for the win. That's not tempting for a team that's won 4 out of 14 games. So it's probably 1-1 if I had to make a call on it now. But like I said, I think it's 9-4 for Anderlecht and both teams to score. That's kind of a Friday bet. But I think smart money, just stay away from it.
I was just googling the squad there, and the Irish lad signed for them this year from West Ham. Josh Cullen. Did you?
Yeah, I actually rate Josh Cullen. I think he's a good player.
There's a lot of. Go ahead, Lee.
No. Go on.
I was going to say it's some of those players like in England and clubs like West Ham who aren't breaking through. There's huge potential for them to move into clubs.
Yeah.
They never seem to do it though.
Especially he's very good technically, but he's just very small. I'd say he's probably only about 5'9", 5'10", I'd say. Maybe not even that. So in a Premiership match, especially in like the London Stadium, he's like a little dot running around the pitch, So in continental games where it's a little bit more cultured and they're like playing a bit more on the deck, and at a lower pace, I think that he should do well. So
Belgium,
it'd be interesting to see how he gets on.
The pitches, I don't know, is it just because of the stadiums and my kind of your view of it? But I think the pitches are all very small in Belgium. Like even the Anderlecht one is kind of set down below the ground. It's one of those ones, where it's below ground level on the roadside, say. And the pitches they're the very minimum of your allowed amounts. So could definitely be a good move for him.
Yeah, because as I said, he is very good technically and good passer of the ball. So like from an Irish perspective, that's what we need. Like players playing regularly and being comfortable on the ball. So with a bit of luck, he gets a run in the team and is able to break through.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
And does anybody else have any kind of matches that we didn't mention there, or anything at the weekend that jumps out or caught your eye for further review later in the week?
I think the West Ham United match, West Ham United versus Man United, is going to be an interesting game. I think that looking at the prices now, West Ham are 13-5. I think that looks a little bit of value. Like PSG are beating United 3-1 here.
There wasn't
United have a fairly good or full strength team out, and then they have to back that up by like a 5:30 away trip on Saturday against the West Ham team, who seem to be getting the look at the minute. Like they haven't played that well in the last couple of games, but they've got a lot of luck and are on a good win and run. And then if you look at the West Ham record against the kind of top 5 or 6 teams over the last couple of seasons, they've always raised their game. So I don't think I'd be taking United at evens. The draw and West Ham are both priced up at 13-5. So they're kind of interesting me. I don't know which one I'll back yet, but I think it's a good game to probably make money from.
As a rule of thumb, I think if West Ham are inside evens or close to evens, just stay away from them. But when they go outside 2-1, they're nearly always worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're that kind of. They're definitely a Jekyll and Hyde team. But the thing that, as I said, seems to be happening this season is that when they played badly, they just lost the game like 3 or 4-0. But now they seem to be getting a bit of luck, like Monday night, where they were off form, but they still come away with a win because they got a couple of dodgy VAR decisions, and the other team, Villa were hitting crossbars and posts and things like that. So if that luck continues, and as I said, they raised their game a bit for the fact United are in town, and also you have I think that's going to be one of the first games with the fans back.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be 4,000 West Ham fans at the game. So you'd hope that they'd up their game for that as well. So as I said, either the draw or West Ham is looking interesting at the minute. I don't know which one I'm going to back, but maybe it's something that we can discuss on Friday's show, and we can look at it a bit further, see what injuries United pick up or they pick up any injuries tonight.
Before we wrap up fully, a little strange NFL week this week. I think we might have mentioned it at the start, or maybe it was off air. The game on tonight, so it wasn't a great week for us last week in the spreads in the Super Contest. But Lee, you're the leader at the minute. You got 3 out of 5, so congratulations to you. I think Gary's close behind you on 2.5. But myself and PK are still going with the game tonight, so it's the second of our head-to-head. You also beat me in our little head-to-head, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was on last week saying I was a little bit not worried, but I was thinking more about it than I should have been, and I shouldn't have been thinking about it at all because it was an absolute blowout in the end. But yeah, it was nice to pick up a little tenner.
Yeah, I feel like I nearly had to talk you into that head-to-head, and then
you were trying to was like we were almost bullying him into like
kicking and screaming into it. Yeah.
You know what the thing was? I was so surprised he hadn't gone for the Packers in his 5 picks. So I was so confident he would that we'd be against each other. I thought perfect, and then he wasn't. Felt like I need to convince him, and then he was just gone from the start.
I mean, I wish, and obviously I wish I did. But the other thing I think we need to touch on quickly before we log off is me talking you out of backing that 14-1 shot at the weekend. The
Ross County.
Ross County, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up because it took about until today for me to get over that because I didn't have a great weekend of my own personal betting.
What would you have done if you can impartially?
I probably, to be honest, in reality, probably most of it would have put a tenner on it, I'd say, because I had nothing to actually think they were going to win other than thinking that we talked about it and how crap Celtic have been. So I just thought, how can someone play against them before teams? Foolishly, I asked for somebody else's opinion, which nearly always backfires when you're looking at a bet. And to be honest, the way my Sunday went, if I had probably won that 140 quid, I probably would have given it straight back anyway. So not much to worry about there. But yeah, like we talked about it, Slats mentioned it, Man United, Milan, Anderlecht. Like when a team crumbles like that, I think we really should be smarter in betting against them because every couple of seasons there's a big team like that, and Celtic will be odds on, but maybe not now because I think that Ross County game was particularly eye opening. But up until then, they've been odds on nearly every single game, and they're utterly undeserved of it.
Yeah, and I guess it's the punters more than anything. Like the punters, like we've said, we put an accumulator together. You see Celtic at 1-4, you go, I'll throw that in, boost up the act a bit.
Yeah.
I think if they go, lads go through the Premier League, they get their ACCA up to about 150-1. So then when you add in a team like Celtic, it's an extra, it's an extra $5,000 on that monster payout. So people start ticking all those boxes, and then the odds.
They're not really researching form; they're just going off the name.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get another chance to
actually. I think we've lost PK there for the moment, but it's like Atalanta. Like they've not been themselves this season at all, but the prices haven't recovered. They're inside 1-2 nearly every game, and they've done nothing this season to warrant that. Yeah. So
I mean, we were high on them at the start, weren't we? Like we were.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of looking at them and Atalanta and Lazio, and we kind of talked about them early in the season. I thought Atalanta would probably do a better job of carrying their form over, and Lazio will probably drop off a bit, but it's probably gone the other way actually. So you see it like Leicester won the league. I know Atalanta didn't win it, but they came very, very close. Teams that are kind of Frankenstein monsters, accumulation of players, they can't continue on that standard over a longer period. So Atalanta have had 2 years of that very high octane football.
And is that what it is? Like they're going on just a heater, like it's just hot form, everyone playing out of their skin, and they just manage to keep it going for longer than most teams can.
And they're in good form, they're gelling together and playing well together. Like
if you look at some of their matches, especially in the Champions League last season, like they were taking, I don't say they were taking chances, but when your confidence is up, people will try everything, and it was just working. Yeah. Guys were passing balls when there was nobody there, but before he passed it, somebody else just ran anyway. So everything they did just worked. But as soon as the other side of it too is that it's like a lot of Klopp teams. Now he's got a lot of money to spend at Liverpool, and he's bought very, very wisely, and it's working. But in the past, his teams burn out because you can't play that standard with that energy for 4 years. You'll get 2 out of it, you might get 3, but you're not getting 4 years of that running 2-3 kilometers more than everybody else every single week. And Atalanta didn't reinforce at all this summer, so I think they're just physically worn out.
I'm just looking at the league. The 2 Milan clubs, 1 and 2, AC unbeaten so far.
Yeah. Remember, Slash, before the season started, we were talking about, I was actually saying I like Milan, but I thought they're not going to win the league. I might back them for the Coppa Italia. And now they're doing so well in the league, I think they probably won't even focus on the cup.
Oh, sure.
I think so, I mean, it's still a good bet. I still have them for the Coppa, but they're looking very good. I mean, we said it as well in a couple of the earlier streams. Juve, a new manager, they're getting to the very, very last legs of that squad. They're not going to be, marching to the title. They could still do it around like after January time, but yeah, it's looking good. And it's good for Italian football as well to have someone that's not Juve sitting at the top.
I mean, Celtic could be in for an absolute hiding tomorrow night.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like Milan -2 is 15-8.
What? What? I'd have to look at the group because the only worry is if Milan have got the group stitched up.
Yeah,
might
they got resting players.
bother. But yeah, I mean, I would expect them to absolutely batter them.
I mean, let's be honest, the way they've been playing, like Milan start their second string, like 15-8 -2 is still a fucking decent show, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, Celtic, they're all over the place, really, aren't they?
Poison. Smashed 4-1 by Sparta Prague back-to-back.
I'm thinking about that. That might actually put Sparta Prague in a position that Milan might kind of need to win to top that group. You know? I haven't looked at it, but
Yeah, Milan are in second. They've 7 points after 4 games. Lille are top with 8, though, and Prague are with 6. So it's all to play for, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be back in them, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't know what the price is, but like I know in Celtic Park there's Ladan shots on target market was priced up around even money for 2 shots on target. So if he's that tomorrow, I'd be lumping on it.
Yeah, let me check it here.
Yeah,
I'll look at it.
Whatever we pick for tomorrow, we'll tweet out anyway from the Betting Bankers account. We'll just let you know what we're on, just so that we don't brag about some unannounced winners on Friday.
Yeah.
We were developing a small habit of that, so we'll have to make sure to get these ones out first.
Yeah, that game's an early game as well. So
was it? Do you know what?
Yeah, it's the 7:50 or 5:55 game.
I'm still not getting my head around those. I keep missing them. Do you know, and even the Premier League games at 5:30